This week's adventure begins just outside Independence, California, in a place called Onion Valley, just off Highway 395. There's seemingly unlimited adventure potential off this highway, but this week we are headed into the Sierras for what will end up being our most challenging backpacking trip yet. This is only Luke's second time backpacking in the last decade. The first was our trip to Pear Lake this past June, but we finally got all the gear sorted and we're ready to tackle a bigger challenge.
Already tired, she is.
Of course.
We plan to cross Kearsarge Pass and Glen Pass with a final destination at 60 Lakes Basin, an offshoot from Rae Lakes, broken up over 4 or 5 days. This wasn't our original plan. Originally, we wanted to backpack to Big Pine Lakes. 2 weeks ago, on my last backpacking trip, I literally ran up to the ranger station on San Miguel Island to book the permit at exactly 7 a.m. I was stoked to find all 10 were left, then by the time I scrolled down to push book, there were none. So here we are at Plan B. Still stunningly beautiful, but a much more difficult undertaking. We plan to travel 15 miles into the backcountry of Kings Canyon National Park, crossing 2 mountain passes, each just shy of 12,000 feet in elevation, for 5,500 feet of total ascent, and then we have to come back again. On this first day, we only plan to cross Kearsarge Pass, still roughly 3,000 feet up from the trailhead. We were tired, just drove from sea level, but felt like we had a solid pace until we found out there were 2 78-year-old women in front of us that we literally could not catch all day. We only heard about them from every descending hiker we passed. I really hope I'm still out here killing it at 78, but right now the mountain feels like it's killing me. So we stopped for lunch and a water refill at Gilbert Lake, halfway to the top of the pass.
It's a pretty color.
With Kearsarge Lakes below us, we quickly descend, eager to find a campsite and relax. We chose a beautiful site with no one around and began setting up as the sun dipped behind the mountains. No sooner had we finished setting up camp than a group of like 6 dudes came through and set up right next to us. Like, I get that anyone is free to camp anywhere, but if I wanted to camp next to someone, I would have just driven up to a developed campground and saved the energy. And there are so many sick spots still available around the lake, but now it's dark and too late for us to move, so we have the pleasure of listening to men snoring and tents unzipping all night. I don't know, am I being unreasonable? Would you choose to camp within 30 feet of another backpacker? Comment below. Anyway, not ideal, but Kearsarge Lakes were so pretty that I'd definitely go through the effort to come back again. Just maybe find a more remote site. But then we got our chance to be the annoying backpackers the next morning.
So we hit a snag last night. The first time I haven't brought a spare lighter or a spare stove. Our jet boil decides to stop lighting. So we have been groveling to our friends next door that we hiked along with. But we're headed to a different spot today, so we'll see if we can find someone with a lighter.
This next morning is so stunning that we get a pretty late start. Not a great call since the afternoon calls for scattered thunderstorms, but it's just so pretty we don't want to leave. We are exhausted from yesterday. But we even made a few friends along the way, which slowed us down a bit, but resulted in a lighter donated to our cause. Thank you, Elizabeth and Anel. We are finally moving pretty good and making some progress when Luke starts exhibiting symptoms of an incoming migraine, which usually result in a half day of nausea and a splitting headache, right as we are at the base of the tallest pass. With 1,000 feet left to climb and thunder beginning to roll in, we had to keep moving to at least find a site near water and preferably descend the pass to safety.
Not ideal.
It's tough going, even for me, and I can't imagine how Luke feels. As we finally crest Glen Pass, it's obvious our plans have to change. Even though we'd planned to hike cross-country into 60 Lakes Basin for 2 nights, we make the call to stick to the obvious trail and descend as quickly as possible to Rae Lakes. Luck is on our side though, and the first heavy raindrops don't fall until we are just about to set up our tent.
Whew. It's raining harder. We made it just before it started raining. That was a rough one. That's it. Well, last night I saw a little bit of smoke between the thunder clouds creeping over from the north, and it seemed quite a lot. So I texted my dad on my inReach, and he said there's a fire. There he is again. He said there's a fire kind of halfway between us and Fresno, and the evac zones are about 30 miles from us. So we're gonna, instead of moving our stuff even further to 60 Lakes Basin, we're gonna hike up and see if we can see anything, and then kind of decide what we should do from there. And if we start moving out today, which we don't want to do after that grueling hike yesterday, or what we should do. So we'll see. You gotta go. What, 9 more miles?
Another 9 to go. 8.75 at this point.
Very cute though. Passes today and planned an extra day in case we need to stay down at Kearsarge Lakes down there. But we did it. We didn't think we were going to be able to do it yesterday. We did it. The car is right down there in about 4.5 miles. What an accomplishment. As we're getting passed by 70-year-olds and 60-year-olds who are doing like 12 miles in a day. But for us, this is more than we thought we'd be capable of, that's for sure.
We're pushing to get out today because this plume of smoke is coming over the mountains behind us.
about 11 miles into our day. About 2,500 feet of elevation gain and even more elevation loss. But we're doing it.